I'm that person because I talk to myself all the time. I have company meeting. I have what do they call board meetings. So yeah, when I'm talking to myself, oh, I don't mind me. I'm just having a board meeting.
Do you actually get up and move to each chair to do the spot?
No, I think
All right,
no,
let's
I
hear from
don't do that.
marketing now. And so you go to the marketing chair. You're like, all right, I need to hear from logistics. And you go over to the logistics chair.
Hey, I should try that. I should try that. I should try that. Then my family be like, she's really lost it.
The best would
So
be if you walked into the board meeting with like 8 different hats, like physical hats that have different words on it. You just put
I
it
like
around
that.
and look at yourself in the
I
mirror.
think I'm gonna try
All right, I'm here with Lakair Taylor, and she's going to kind of share a little bit about what it is that she does. So I'm going to actually turn it over to her. Go ahead and give us some insight on what it is that you do and who you are.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lakair Taylor. I am the owner, CEO, founder, whatever title you want to put on it, of D'Kair Couture Boutique. And I actually started with a brick and mortar in 2017. And I had a different company name at that time. It was actually Ambrosio J Boutique. Ambrosio was something that was kind of hard for everyone to pronounce. And they were like, how do you say it? Ambrosio? So yeah, we went through a whole transformation and changed the name. But what made me get into it was in high school, I always liked fashion, always liked to shop. And it's just always been a passion of mine. Fashion and clothing, accessories, handbags, things of that sort. So I said, well, hey, why not make it a business? So that's pretty much how I got into the business of, entrepreneurship or having a boutique.
So you mentioned that it was a brick and mortar business, which would mean that it's
Yes.
not anymore. So what happened there? What made you do the transition from brick and mortar to? I guess are you traveling or are you? Is the company? Do you sell products or is it something else that you do?
So we sell products. We're an online boutique. We have women clothing, shoes and accessories. And I also have my own t-shirt line. When I did say we started in a brick and mortar. So I kind of like didn't have any direction, and everything that I learned on my own. All I knew was I wanted a store and I want a boutique. I'm going to put some products in it. I'm going to sell. So I spoke with my husband. He was okay with it. I quit my job via text and went and found the building. And yeah, that was really, really tough. I wouldn't encourage anyone to do that without proper research, but I did it. And I closed it in a year because I moved to Georgia. So it was a brick and mortar in Orlando, Florida, where I'm originally from. But we moved to Georgia in 2018. So yeah, a year and a half, I would say. A year and a half, I did a brick and mortar, learned a lot, and got a lot of bumps and bruises along the way. But yeah, we moved to Georgia. I'm here in Atlanta now, and we're strictly online. Don't know if I want to do a full brick and mortar this time, but I do have some other things in the making as well. So not really looking for brick and mortar right now. However, I do have some other things coming along the pipeline that I think a lot of people will be happy with.
So that's an interesting thing that you said that you started something. You knew you wanted to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You went out and did it, and you
Mm-hmm.
were just doing research. And that's kind of what this is here to help people with that maybe know they want to do something, but they're not
Mm-hmm.
sure exactly how or maybe what. But you decided, hey, I'm going to do this. It's going to happen, and you did it. Now, obviously, you can look back at it and say, I wish I would have done this instead. But
Right.
that must have been pretty amazing to have accomplished a goal like that.
So when I talk about it and think about it, yes, it is pretty amazing to, be able to say that I've experienced it. I went out, I said I wanted to do it. I went out, I did it. But when I said I probably wouldn't do it again like that, because I was kind of learning on the fly. Like I knew everything needed to be done. I had to do it. Like I had to purchase everything. I knew that part, but I really wasn't ready, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
So it gives me a satisfaction to know that I actually was able to accomplish something that a lot of people want to do or they're thinking about doing, but actually haven't stepped out their own faith per se to do it. So it does give me a sense of, accomplishment that I did it, but it was tough. It was tough. It's still tough because here we are 3 years later, and even though I don't have a brick and mortar, I've learned a lot. I've networked a lot. I've done a lot of fashion shows. So I have a lot more knowledge now that I had to pretty much learn as I went along.
Well, I think what's interesting in your situation is a lot of times people will start and try to do some sort of business.
Mhm.
They'll get to a certain point, and then either they'll find out it's not exactly what they want to do, or it's too difficult to do what they want to do. They close up shop, literally close up shop, and
Mhm.
then that's it. You did what you wanted to do, found out that there's a lot more challenges than you'd like to have. You closed
Mhm.
up, but then you just revamped the same business
Mhm.
and did it in a different way.
Mhm.
So can you speak to that a little bit of why you decided to continue to do it, and then what maybe some pitfalls or some things that you saw along the way?
So I will say, somewhat you can have like you can feel real passionate about an idea or a hobby or just something you just like to do and say, you know what, I want to make a business out of this. But once you get out there, you realize that okay, this is not just a hobby, it's a real business. You have to, first of all, you have to take off the employee mindset. You have to be able to think like an employer. And that alone is like a major transformation to go from an employee mindset to an employer mindset. Why do I say that? Because as an employee, you just go to work and do your job and go home. As the employer, you can't do that because if you don't do it, if you don't do something, who's going to do it? It's not going to get done. And you have to have that passion, that determination, that drive. I'm just like so passionate about what it is that I do that, it's just, you have to have that determination. You have to have that passion, that drive. You just have to, stick with it. I mean, I don't call them failures. I call them life lessons or business lessons, lessons that you learn in the business world. If you don't do so great in one area or don't do so great in one thing, just back up, breathe, revamp, and start again. Just go a different way. I mean, as long as you have breath in your body, you still have that passion, that determination to do it, then, just go ahead and do it. I mean, what's stopping you? What do you have to lose? You have everything to lose if you don't go. Like if you don't step out and do it. So, I mean, I would encourage anyone who feels like they want to start a business or they have something that they really love or like to do, helping people, whatever it may be, just don't give up. If that's what you really want to do, if you want to turn it from a hobby to a business, do it. I mean, a support system is really good. Like if you have to have a good support system, thick skin, yes, thick skin. You have to have that as well, and customer service skills. Really, really big on customer service skills. So there's a lot that goes into it. If you want to start a business, I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot, but it can be done. It can be done. It's really important to have people around you that speaks life into you, that lets you know that, hey, you can do this. Don't give up. There's going to be a lot of days. I had a lot of days. I still have a lot of days where I'd be like, you know what? I'm just so overwhelmed and so tired. But at the end of the day, it's rewarding. It's refreshing. My why is so much bigger than my current feelings in the moment. So that's what keeps me going. And if you just make sure that your why is much greater, then you'll keep going.
You mentioned support system. So to kind of go off of that, what about inspiration? Is there somebody that maybe inspired you to do what you're doing? maybe they were in a different field, or maybe it was somebody that you saw that was doing the same thing. Like, where did you pull your inspiration? Like, where did the spark of, I want to do this, where did that come from?
So my inspiration comes from the testimonials that I get back from people that come and purchase, or that purchase my products, or I'm going to speak to when I had the store and I was having, you know, a lot of human interaction. The feeling, my inspiration came from when the people came into the store, and like when they try on clothes or when they try on something, just that smile, that spark that they have, like that was I love to see people feel good about themselves. It's basically, I just love to help people. And if I can help you with the outward appearance, then, you know, I feel good about that. Now there are some people that I look up to that's in the same field, in the same industry as I just watch them. Social media is a really big thing now. So I just watch them with their success stories. I follow them. It's kind of like those, sounds kind of creepy, but you know, I just do my research. I study them. Like, okay, if this person, okay, so one of my biggest inspirational persons would be Rashida. Not sure if you know who Rashida Frost is, but she has a store up here in Atlanta, Pressed. And I go in there all the time. I watch her, I follow her, and I just kind of mimic that. I mean, I'm nowhere near her level. So let's just get that out there. But I always tell myself, if she can do it, I can do it. If she can do it, I can do it. Like, what makes us different? The only thing that makes us different is probably $1 million, but I'm in there. I've just got to stay in my lane and stay where I am. Like, I'm going to keep baby steps, like the tortoise and the hare. I'm going to get there. She's already there. I'm going to get there. And then I watch others that may be like on the same playing field, or, you know, not so high as as Rashida, but I watch them too. I invest in myself. So I take a lot of trainings. I network a lot. I thrive off other success that's around me. I watch, you know, so the company that I keep as well. So that's a big thing too. When you're an entrepreneur, when you're the boss, it matters, the company that you keep. The company that you keep. If you want to be successful, you hang around successful people. It'll rub off.
That's a big important thing that I think people don't think about all the time. They think about where they want to go to, and they think about they're going to be the successful one in their group. And that might be the case, but if you don't have a group of people that you're around that are also successful, then it's going to be hard to really claw your way up or work your way up the mountain. So.
Exactly. I had to learn that the hard way because I'm kind of an introvert. But I noticed when you're selling products, like if you don't talk to people, who's going to buy your products? So you need people. So like I said, it's a mindset thing as well. It's a mindset. You have to change your mindset. Hang around successful people. If you want to be a millionaire, hang around millionaires. See what millionaires do. Right now, I just want to be 100,000 there. So let me hang around 100,000 theirs, and I'll work my way up. But it helps. It helps. I mean, you start thinking, you start acting, you start doing things that successful people do. It'll rub off.
The thing about being an introvert, people who are introverted or maybe nervous around people, you'll hear people say, "Well, I'm really not that bad. It takes me a while to warm up to you." Or once I know you, then you'll know the real me. Well, you're trying to be someone that is going to be around people selling an item or selling a product, or a lot of people say you're in the business of selling yourself, to certain companies. You need to figure out a way to get over that. And I read this in a book a long time ago, and it said that I realized when I walked into an elevator, I was there in the elevator nervous because someone else was in the elevator, and I'd look at the floor and I'd look at the buttons and I'd look up at the thing, and it wouldn't say anything until I realized that person was equally as scared as I was to say something. And once I heard that, it unlocked my brain, and I just realized that I actually have some power here because I know that person's nervous of me for no reason. So if I just be friendly and nice and open, then that person is going to receive that the same way too.
Yeah. I'm constantly still. It's the everyday thing that
Mhm.
I'm learning still as well. And even is in business, people don't buy products, they buy you.
Mhm.
So if you put yourself out there, do it scared.
Mhm.
So I mean, just do it. You,
Right.
you never know what will come out of it.
Mhm.
So, and like you said, the person in the elevator was just as scary as you. So do it scared. Speak even when you're scared. Just
Mhm.
strike up a conversation. So I mean, you just never know. You never know.
That, and that's a good tactic to use when we get out of quarantine and we can walk around
Right.
people again. When you're in a space like an elevator that's awkward, just
Mhm.
say something to the person. Just something. Don't use the weather because that's kind of just a normal thing. Use another subject. Uh,
Yeah.
come up with something that is a little off the wall, but maybe relevant, so they don't think you're a crazy person. And you
Hmm.
just have that conversation, and then you hit your floor, and you're gone.
Yep.
Especially if your floor is
But
the first
they'll
one.
remember you. They'll remember you
Yeah.
because every time you see them in the elevator or in the hallway,
Hmm.
they'll speak now.
Right.
So you've broken that awkward
Mhm.
silence barrier.
Right. It's true.
So yeah, that's a really good tactic. Hmm.
So let me ask you this: realism. There are people who are quote unquote realists, and sometimes those are people who are maybe glasses half empty kind of people. They're
Mm.
calling themselves realists, but there are true realists. So my question here is: can you be realistic and still achieve all your goals you want to achieve?
You can.
Okay.
However, you can be realistic, set realistic goals, and you can achieve them. I believe a realist, yeah, a realistic, yeah, really, yeah. I think it's possible
Okay.
because um, I'm a realist.
Mhm.
I'm a realist. I set realistic goals. I mean, I can say, oh yeah, I'm gonna make $10,000 this month. Okay, so no, don't know anyone. We're gonna bring it down, and we're just gonna be real for a minute. Do you really think you can make $10,000 this month? I have these conversations with myself all the time. I mean, I'm the boss. I'm talking to the employees. I'm having an employee meeting. I'm having a company meeting, so I talk to myself all the time. I'm like, okay, so part of me is like, I'm already a millionaire. I'm already a thousandaire. So let me just act like it. But then I'm like, wait, no, back up. So you don't really know anyone. You're still trying to break into it. No. And you're like by yourself. So until you are able to get this team together, let's back up and set smaller goals. I think if we set small goals for ourselves, those short-term goals, and once we hit that little success, and then like, okay, I can do it.
Mhm.
Okay, let me just add a little bit more. My definition of being a realist is, okay, let's be real here. Do you really think you could do that by yourself? No. Okay, so we're gonna go back to the drawing board and we're gonna do something else. So when you say realist, I'm that person because I talk to myself all the time. I have company meeting. I have what do they call board meetings. So yeah, when I'm talking to myself, oh, I don't mind me. I'm just having a board meeting.
Do you actually get up and move to each chair to give you the spot?
No, I think
Oh,
no,
let's
I
hear from
don't do that.
marketing now. And so you go over to the marketing chair. You're like, all right, I need to hear from logistics. And you go over to the logistics chair.
Hey, I should try that. I should try that. Then my family will be like, she's really lost it.
The best would
No.
be if you walk into the board meeting with like 8 different hats, like physical hats that have different words on it. You just put
I
it
like
on
that.
and look at yourself in the
I
mirror.
think I'm gonna try that. I think I'll try that. But I have those meetings all the time. Like everywhere I'm in the car, I just start talking. Like I have the windows down. If someone's next to me and they look, yeah, no, I'm not on the phone. I'm having a business meeting here. Don't mind me. But yeah, it's great. I
So,
think I'm a realist.
so you probably get asked a lot of questions. You probably get asked some of the similar questions.
Mm-hmm.
What are some questions you get asked, and what are the questions people should be asking you?
So I always get asked this generic question. And I call it generic because I feel like it's a question that you just naturally ask someone, like, but you really don't want to know the answer. You just asking, trying to have a conversation. And the question that I get asked a lot is, how did you do it? How did I do it? So people that see me in person after they've seen me online or know that I'm the one behind a lot of things online, they're, how did you do it? Oh, I want to start a business. Or how did you do it? Yeah, so it's a process and you have to start with the legalities. I'm a legal person. Like I always make sure all my I's are dotted, T's are crossed behind the scenes. I'm make sure everything is legit. And once I start telling them, they're like, okay, well, tell me. It's like, well, you have to register. You have to apply for a fictitious name. You have to register with the Secretary of State. And okay, how do I do that? Now, I just feel like you're asking me questions just because it just flows that way. You really don't want to know. What you should be asking is, do you have time that we can schedule so I can have a one-on-one conversation with you so we can figure out like how I can get to where you are? And I mean, sure, I don't mind doing consultations or whatever you want to call them, but I just don't feel like a lot of people, what I realize is a lot of people would ask that and they would have a great idea that they want to do. They want to start a business selling hair, what have you, whatever. The thing about it is, once I start telling them, you know, the unsexy things that you have to do behind the scenes, they really were like, I don't want to do all of that. I just want to sell hair. I'm like, okay, well, you have a hobby. That's great. You don't have a business, you have a hobby. So, I mean, the generic question that they ask me is, how do you do it? How do I start? Okay, so let me give you, I actually have a list for people because there's been, I'll say out of that question that I've been asked, only one person really, you know, took what I said and she constantly follows up with me. And she now has a successful business. I have a list. I have a list of how you would actually get started. And most people don't make it past the first 3 or 4 things. So, I mean, just knowing, determining if it's just a hobby or do you really want a legitimate business. So I think once people realize or they're able to answer that question for themselves, then we'll be able to move forward. But that question, how do you start? How did you do it? How did you do it? How did I do it? Like, I mean, I'm determined. Failure is not an option for me.
Throwing a little overage in there.
Yeah, that's just my motto. Failure is not an option. So,
so yes, it's difficult because people see success, right? Mm-hmm. And the old saying that, well, if it was easy, everyone would do it.
Everyone would do it, right? It's not easy.
You know, I think it's difficult, and a lot of people, they ask because they see someone they know that is doing it, or that someone that they relate to. They probably think, well, I can do that. Mm-hmm. Then they start asking the questions, and they're like, that's not really what I want to do. I don't want to. Right. I want to be able to travel and show stuff on my Instagram, not put forth all the effort that it takes to get to that point.
Well, that's why I say you have a hobby. I mean, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Mm-hmm. But you're not ready for business. You have a very successful hobby. That's what I say. You have a very successful hobby. Yeah. I mean, you can travel as a business owner, as an entrepreneur. You can do that. It's just going to take some time before you're able to get to that point. I mean, if you want to just travel and take pictures, luxury, and say, oh, because I'm traveling because I made the money from my business to travel. I mean, you can do that. It's going to take some time, but you can do it. That's where the realness comes in at. Yeah, you can do it, but we have to start right here first. It's going to take you a minute to get way down there. You're trying to jump out in the deep and everything. That people are infatuated with what I call the glitz and glam. They see it, it's all pretty on social media, because social media is like the biggest platform there is now. It's all pretty on social media, and they just feel like, oh, I woke up like this, or oh, they woke up like that. No, you don't understand. There's a lot that goes into what you see right now. It took a lot for me to get here.
Mm-hmm.
And within myself, do I feel like a failure at times? Yeah, but then I have to go back to my failure is not an option. So yeah, we got to get up and we got to keep going.
I love the fact that you wrote down a list of things, and I hope that sometime in the near future, maybe there's a book that's going to be coming out of how to do what you did, because I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, I've thought about it. I actually have it on my goals list. I have a family goal list, and I have a business personal goal list. And it is on my list to write my second book, and my second book will have nothing to do with like my first book. I did write a book, but it will be kind of like on two different ends of the spectrum here. So there will be another book. However, I'm also working on a coaching certification as well.
Oh, wow.
So business coaching. So yeah, have a lot of things I'm working on. This whole entrepreneur thing, I'm like really, really big into it. Now I do have a 9-to-5, but I time management is a really big thing as well. So I have a lot of things I'm working on. Launching my own clothing line with this whole pandemic. I don't think it's going to happen. I had it on my calendar for the fourth quarter to launch fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. I think I have to push it back to the second quarter because there's a lot that goes into that as well. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's a whole nother beast within itself, launching your own clothing line. There's a difference between launching your own t-shirts and having an entire clothing line, like a designer, a sewer, a stylist, there's a whole nother monster. But yeah, that's coming as well. that's coming.
You mentioned this a little bit. You mentioned that when you were looking at starting the business, the one that you started down here in Orlando with the brick and mortar, you spoke to your husband about it, and you had a conversation. You're talking about up here about family and everything. So how does a person who wants to do their own business, how do you balance that family life and that business life? I know you mentioned the goals. You have a family set of goals and you have a business set of goals. So I think that probably helps a little bit. But how does somebody really make sure that they're balancing both personal life and business life?
So that's a really, really good question, because I am constantly trying to make sure time management is at the top of my list, because it's so easy to get caught up doing what you really have a passion to do, which, not saying I don't have a passion to be with my family, which I do, but it's just I'm trying to get somewhere. I'm trying to leave a legacy here for my family. So it's real easy to get caught up doing that. But time management, you have to, it's a must that you do a schedule. And this is what I do personally. I have a schedule. I have my Monday through Friday. Like I said, I have a job, a 9-to-5. I take certain days out of the week and say, you know what, I'm going to put all my business to the side and I'm going to just focus on my family. My husband needs time. My son needs time. My daughter needs time. We need family time. I purposely schedule days that this is day. I'm not going to do anything for D'Kair. I'm not going to do anything for eye care. I'm not going to do anything for any of that. I'm just focused on my family. And you'll be amazed that by you just doing that thing there, just one day, 1 or 2 days, however that looks for you, 1 or 2 days out of the week, and spend it just with your family. I mean, it helps you mentally, because you're relaxing your mind from it being all jumbled up from work, business, planning, and like you're just all over the place. Mom, being a school teacher, being a counselor, being a therapist, being all of this. It takes your mind, it relaxes your mind. So time management is something that you really, really, really must do. A lot of families fall apart because you have a parent or a leader in the family that's always consumed in something else and not paying attention to what's really going on in their family or right there in their home. And, that could lead you down a rabbit hole that you really don't want to go down. And then everything just starts tumbling down around you because you have so much, all of your focus is in one area. You have to balance. I would say take 1 or 2 days a week, whatever that looks like for you and your family, 1 or 2 days a week, and focus on just you and your family. Nothing else, no one else. But that is a really, really, really big, 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 big important step that I don't think should be overlooked at all. It will break up a family.
Yeah, it's really important, I think, that people listen to that, especially if they're going to start, because there's a lot of challenging moments and challenging times, and you can get overwhelmed, and if you don't have your core set in place with your family, then you're right, it can break apart a lot of people.
Yes, it can. It can break up marriages. It can ruin relationship with mother and kids, father and kid. I mean, it can really, really be a disaster. So time management, please. I would encourage anyone that's wanting to go into entrepreneurship or even in the beginning stages of starting their business, you must, above any and everything else, have that work life, family life, business life balance. It's a must. You don't want to get burnt out doing that thing that you love to do, and then you're doing it so much till you get burnt out. Then you start, half doing things, or things just you're not as passionate about it because you've burnt yourself out by doing just that. And because you've burnt yourself out with the business area, now your family, when you try to talk to your family about it, they're like, there's no connection there because you are all over there. Now you have to work on building this over here, and then you just completely forget about that over there. So, I mean, then you have this. So you always want to have that balance. Having that family time is definitely, definitely important.
Anything you'd like to add? Anything that you feel like people should know, especially in this time period where it's very strange and very odd, how we can't really talk with, well, we can talk with one another, but we can't really connect with one another the normal way. So anything that you see maybe in this current time, or maybe something on the horizon, or just something you'd like to add in general?
Well, I would say for any and everyone that's looking to, all the entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs, don't give up. Now that we are in this quarantine, use your time wisely. Like if you use this time to research the area, the target audience. I mean, if you're wanting to be an entrepreneur and work for yourself, you have to, invest in yourself, do a lot of research. So when outside does open, you'll have the necessary tools. I would say stay encouraged, find that work well, in our new norm right now, I would say find that research family balance because you have no time. I mean, you can't do anything but research, right? But now is the time to, come up with some creative ideas. I mean, find different avenues to do what you do, as far as making money or whatever have you, whatever that looks like for you. But just be encouraged. Be encouraged. Continue on. It will get better. The world will open up. Now, will we go back to being the same way we were? I don't think so. I think we're going to have a new norm, whatever that's going to look like. Just have an open mind. Don't be so closed-minded. Just be open-minded. Do a lot of research. Try things. I mean, now is the time to learn different ways of reaching your audience. get invest in technology, because it seems like I don't know what it's going to look like when outside opens, but I do know it's going to be a lot different. So yeah, just be encouraged. Do a lot of research.
It's probably going to be one of those weird things where we've been trying to get back out and live our lives again. And the moment they say, okay, you're free to go now, we're going to all go back home and like get on the computer and talk to each other. It's really like, well,
Right.
now I'm not being told I have to stay home. Now it's my choice to stay home.
Right. Yeah.
All right. So if people want to know more about your business and follow you and get more information, what's the best thing for them to do?
So I have a website. My website is D'kairCouture.com. That's DKAIR Couture.com. That's my website. You can find me on Facebook at D'Kair Couture. You can find me on Instagram at D'Kair Couture. So yeah, you can find me on social media, Facebook, Instagram. I haven't really tapped into the Twitter world. Don't know how to tweet yet, but when I do learn, it's going to be D'Kair Couture. Yeah, and don't forget, I do have a t-shirt line, Gateway to Generations. This actually was an inspiration message that I heard back in January. That's where I got the concept from, because I know, as entrepreneurs, we are the gateway to generations behind us. So if you just stay persistent and determined, if that's what you want to do, and you know that you can make it, you keep speaking life into yourself, you're going to make it. You're going to be the gateway to generations behind you. So that's where this came from, Gateway to Generations. So when you put it on, I just Gateway to Generations. It's available in black and white on my website. You can order it on my website, D'KairCouture.com.
Well, you got the promotion thing down.
Hey, I had to learn that. I'm learning.
All right. Well, great talking with you, and we'll see that, or hopefully we see that book on the shelves soon.
Yes. Hopefully soon. I'm working on it. Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
Oh, you're welcome.